Good morning, Trump's family. Welcome back to my channel. Have a good day, everyone, and God bless you. Alright, let's get into the news this Monday morning. And it looks like there was a funny moment over the weekend. If any solace I take out of New York City is that there are still some people there who are not insane, that New York City actually still has some people in there with a brain that understands what's going on across this country. And of course, across the world as they continue to push their latest attempt in order for you to give up your gas-powered cars, your meat, and whatever else they don't want you to be able to participate in, because only the elites and people within the globalist societies are allowed to partake in. Well, recently, just over this weekend at Pelosi visited a festival in NYC where she was going to go out and push the same type of propaganda. Well, instead, she received a bunch of boos and it was hilarious. So let's get to take a look at what we have here. It says the Speaker Nancy Pelosi gets booed at the Global Citizen Festival in NYC while trying to push the Democrat global warming change agenda. Let's take a listen to what happened here. So I love it. There's boos and then the crowd is mostly silent anyway. And with the boos overwhelming the silence of the crowd, which is hilarious because people like Nancy Pelosi and these rich elites in these parties who continue to push such agenda on, you are never going to feel the impact of the sacrifices that they're asking you to make. They want you not to be able to travel very far. They want you not to be able to pick what you're able to eat or participate in the activities or places they traveled to. Because it's exclusively for them. And if you're doing it, it's bad for the environment. And this is why people like Nancy Pelosi are so despised by the everyday individual who understands what the agenda is. And I hope that you guys are out there, hopefully pushing in, hoping that you guys are connecting with others, and giving this type of message to the people out there who might not connect all the dots, because of course, people are people and they get caught up into their daily routines and they maybe get a soundbite here and there. And Democrats have a wonderful way of making bills that are absolutely harmful to your country and to yourself sound very nice. And so when they put it out in the mainstream media for the 10-second, 20-second clip soundbite or whatever, they're like, oh, I don't know why Republicans or Oregon Senator. I don't know why people are so mad about that. Well, it's because they're being lied to. So hopefully you guys are out there and being like these guys, who are booing these unpopular nitwits who are pushing this stuff on you. Hopefully you're helping lightning others with the same type of message. So anyway, let me know what you guys think in the comments down below. Do you guys think that there is still a remnant of hope within places like NYC, Los Angeles, and other liberal strongholds? And Donald Trump did a tremendous service to humanity, the United States of America. It's a good deed. It's almost a spiritual type of beautiful act of kindness. In my background, it's called a mitzvah. So he did a tremendous mitzvah. And I will read you this. CNN, Liz Cheney says she will not remain a Republican if Donald Trump is GOP nominee. Yes. Mazel tov. Fantastic. I'm unbelievable. And so, Donald Trump has done a great many good things for this country. Record low poverty rate in 2019. It's never been lower since they recorded the poverty rate. I believe it started in 1959. According to CNN, we had record lows in poverty, a record high in household median income under Trump in 2019. Then we had an amazing foreign policy. And he did a lot of other great things. First president to step foot in North Korea allocated more funding Trump did to historically black colleges and universities than any president ever. Made the funding permanent, but maybe one of the best things she's ever done is forever remove Liz Cheney from the Republican Party. It's actually a fantastic thing for so many reasons. Texas Tribune, Liz Cheney, she will say she will do whatever it takes to keep Donald Trump to the White House. She lost miserably in Whisk in Wyoming. Miserably. NBC News, Liz Cheney, shouldn't she would campaign for Democrats? Fine. Good. If you want the Lincoln Project, Bush, Cheney, Rumsfeld, Republicans, which is exactly why I didn't vote for Madam Secretary in 2016. Because I said to everybody on the left, you're going to have the Bush, Cheney, and Rumsfeld Republicans embedded within the Democratic Party. And it's going to be the same hawkish militant foreign policy, infinitely greater issue than combating climate change, which is a very important issue. We know that because Biden is flooding the country full of strategic petroleum reserves and getting sued by environmental groups. It explains exactly why the Federal Bureau of Investigation really does not like former President Donald Trump. I use Michael Horowitz. He's on the shore, The Honorable Inspector General Michael Horowitz states categorically that there were numerous agents, they wanted to stop Trump. And he can't imagine how any of these agents would use their power to investigate any candidate for any office. But ladies and gentlemen, here's why you want Liz Cheney out of the Republican Party. You don't want the Bush, Cheney, and Rumsfeld Republicans who plunged the country into never-ending counterinsurgency conflicts, destabilized entire regions of the world. And most importantly, plunged this nation into an unwinnable, never-ending counterinsurgency quagmire in numerous regions, numerous regions of the world. And we learned from Vietnam that there is no great power that can defeat or that can actually win a counterinsurgency conflict. It is impossible. It is impossible to win the hearts and minds of a local population when you have adversaries and enemies who will use the local popular population to use the people who live there, intimidate them, and do the most horrific, despicable, sinister things possible to ensure they don't side with your military. I can go on forever. It's an unwinnable, impossible military engagement or military conflict. You cannot win. There's no objective. There's no definition of victory. And Liz Cheney is more than willing, along with Kinzinger, along with the Bush, Cheney, and Rumsfeld, people who were against the Lincoln Project, was against marriage equality. I was saying this when I was on the left. I used to be the biggest Bernie Sanders booster on the internet, according to the Huffington Post, the unofficial scribe of Sanders, his most hardcore voters, according to the Washington Post. Everything that I expected Bernie Sanders to do, Trump did in a much better manner. We had record low unemployment, record low poverty, and record highs in household median income. Now we have a recession, medium, real wages, down 4.4%. More than that, inflation 8.98 to 9%. Inflation. We have 3/4 of negative growth. With Trump, we had an economy that was growing. We had household median income at record highs, real wages were up, they weren't negative, inflation was at 2%. And in terms of geopolitics, that country in Europe wasn't being invaded, and go check out what's taking place now. If you are an ally, or that if the Democratic Party claims they're an ally, or if wonderful, morally superior liberal politicians in the US or throughout the world claim that they're an ally of your cause, you got a lot of problems to worry about. Okay. Look, what's taking place right now with the country that was invaded under Biden's watch. Mashed potato brains is so horrendous. He's such a failure in every way that even Democrats don't want him in the Oval Office again in 2024, which leads to Hillary 2024. I pray every day that Hillary Clinton becomes the nominee of the Democratic Party. I want to Hillary Trump 2024. I'm gonna vote for Trump 1,000,000 out of 1,000,000 times. But Liz Cheney being kicked out. His CNN insider Liz Cheney says she won't be Republican anymore. Yahoo News. Liz Cheney said if Trump wins the 24 GOP presidential nomination, she won't be Republican. It is a certainty that Trump will win the nomination if he runs, which he will. And if he doesn't run, then DeSantis. But the thing is, he will run indicted even, and he still would defeat the incumbent or any adversary in the Democratic Party, even indicted. That's how terrible they are. That's what you're talking about, catastrophic failures in terms of the economy and foreign policy. We have a recession that is just starting. We have a prolonged economic downturn because Democrats caused all of this. Okay. We had record highs in household median income in 2019, a record low in poverty, and the end of Trump's tenure. Democratic governors were gleefully taking their economy for your benefit. Of course, there was no political motive. Give me a break. Oh, my God. Then you had a V-shaped recovery in which 2021 even Jerome Powell said, now you inflation. There's no inflation, everything's fine. It's just temporary. Inflation is just temporary. And they were so happy. And they were talking about poverty rates being lower, and that will show they looked in the mirror, the morally superior, highly educated liberal Democrats. That was such, they were so happy with them. So little poverty has been decreased. Thanks, mashed potato brains drill. Now we have poverty 15 over 15%. It's approaching 15 and probably over 15% nationally. And then you have Democrats talking to frontline communities. Yeah, they're all doing horribly under your watch, Democrats. You caused the poverty to go up. Because you pushed and you advocated that the most hysterical and apoplectic manner to shut down economic activity. And then you pumped $10 trillion into the economy, like a bunch of imbeciles, after you prevented people from earning a living, and you said, we're there for you as you prevent them from working. And you didn't have to do that, that was a choice. You didn't have to, there's a million reasons why you didn't have to, But we won't go into that, because we can't talk about that because Democrats have altered social media algorithms to the point where you can't actually discuss everything, but you can actually maybe connect the dots and say, yeah, the Democrats did that. We have the House Democrat. Not for long midterms rebuilt Trump Republicans will decimate them, but House Democrats, Senate Democrat, exec get a branch Democrat, Washington Post, New York Times, pretty much all the media from late night comedians to CNN, MSNBC, the Washington Post, the New York Times, all siding with the Democratic Party, and we have a recession. Invasion Europe. Recession in Europe. Terror, terrible at crime, sorry. We have an economy that's not only in recession, 2 quarters of negative growth. You can't redefine every word to suit your political objectives. That's what Democrats do. They live by euphemisms. George Orwell called euphemisms verbal refuse. That's what they live by, Democrats, but you have layoffs ahead. You have layoffs in the future, in the near future, ladies and gentlemen, and it's terrible. You have an economy that's shrinking. You have interest rates going up in a shrinking economy. Ladies and gentlemen, that we are heading towards a terrible economic environment. And I've been saying that forever. It's a catastrophe. And I've been saying that since I wrote the Federalist article in October of 2020. When I called everything I said, we're heading towards stock market crash, we're seeing that how many times would I say we're going to have a recession, but also how many times that I say the DAT is going to get below 3,000, who knows where the NASDAQ and S&P are going to go, there's going to plummet. They're going to actually tank a lot more. And you have layoffs. So as I beg for super chat or super things you can give super thanks to the shorts. Watch the latest short, ladies and gentlemen, with the Honorable Michael Horowitz, the Inspector General, admitting that there was utter contempt and disdain for Trump. Watch that short on this channel. It's gonna be below in the description, in the pin in the description section, and eventually in the pinned comment. But you can go on the homepage of this channel and watch all the shorts. You can see me lift 110-pound dumbbells each hand. But it's gonna get worse, a lot worse. And the economy is in freefall. And you have Liz Cheney, you have Adam Kinzinger. You have the Never Trump Republicans who, politics makes strange bedfellows. You have Bernie Sanders. Oh, Liz Cheney, I love you. Stop hogging the sheets. You have Liz Cheney and Bernie Sanders in the same bed. Okay. Liz Cheney and Bernie Sanders vote for the same political party. Think about that. And if you're in another country, think about how dysfunctional and absurd American politics is. The Democratic Socialist is voting alongside the Bush Republican Bush, Cheney and Rumsfeld. Republican Liz Cheney. Okay, well, there you go. They Cheney's daughter. The Democratic Socialist, who wants Medicare for all, is voting alongside the proponents, the advocate for never-ending military conflict and interventions. But it's all about climate change. That's why Biden is flooding the country full of strategic petroleum reserves at begging oil and gas. The oil and gas industry are telling them they should actually increase their output, as we have international agencies in Europe to reduce your output, and Biden's saying let's increase our output. My political, future, as the Democratic Party's political future is at stake, they pontificate about fossil fuels, while at the same time bagging oil and gas companies to increase output. You have to be a complete imbecile to vote for a recession. In the midterms, which will see Trump Republicans obliterate their wonderful adversaries or whatever opponents. We have a recession, high interest rates, shrinking economy, inflation and an 8 to 9%. Do you want what did Trump do to you? Where you can't have a great economy with Trump. What did he do? Why? Because the Washington Post, the New York Times and CNN and Stephen Colbert and Jimmy Kimmel don't like Trump. Who cares? They're all rich. That especially late night, they're all millionaires. Who cares? Do you think care if there's inflation at 15%? Do you think Stephen Colbert cares if it's inflation that 20%? He's a millionaire many times over. Same with Jimmy Kimmel, they don't care. They'd rather have Biden with a terrible economy in freefall than Trump with record highs in household median income, and a record low in poverty, because their liberal sensibilities tell them that we're already wealthy. So we can pontificate and judge and condemn and preach and do all the things that make us feel good. But God forbid we'd have the orange menace tweeting. We can't have Trump's tweets along with a great economy. We'd rather have a mashed potato brings Joe's fantastic personality with kickbacks and bribery and graft with Hunter that Republicans will endlessly investigate, and they're actually crimes. They're unlike all the fabricated nonsense with Trump. Watch the shorts on this channel. You will see, not my words, government officials. But you see that like it's a choice, you have choice. Do you want a great economy? Vote Trump. Republican meet, they've already proven themselves with Trump. Do you want what's going on now? It only gets worse with Democrats who want to limit fossil fuels while at the same time pumping fossil fuels into the economy. Thank you very much. WWG1WGA. Give me your thoughts.